Hello and welcome to the ROKER RAPPORT Player Ratings Podcast. My name is Anthony Waterson and I'm joined by Gavin Bomber. How are we doing, lads?
Yeah, all good, thanks, Ant. Not bad. Don't really know what to make of myself at the minute, but yeah, I'm alright.
I'm pretty much the same. Like, I just feel a bit dazed after watching that crap, but there we go.
Yeah, it was very laboured, wasn't it? I mean, Sunderland have won anyway, so we're happy about that. Not so much the performance. I thought the first 30 minutes, I thought we were actually well on top. Let Ipswich back into the game with a city goal, and then pretty much risking reward in the second half. They get a man sent off. We get a penalty. I mean, if you watch Saturdays against Gillingham, Gav, it was pretty much the same, wasn't it?
I just think we've been so lucky tonight. I feel really deflated, even though we've won against a difficult team, and that might sound ridiculous to people listening back, but I mean, it's not good enough the way we're playing, and we've been let out of jail again today. For me, the referees gave us the game. If I was an Ipswich fan today, I'd be fuming. I'd be absolutely raging about how the referees handled those two big decisions, because for me, it wasn't a red. It was a strong tackle, but I don't think it's a red card. And then the penalty decision, I think, is very harsh. I think he's, a yard away from the player and his hands by his side. I mean, I know we were talking off air before this about the penalty decision. You both felt it was a penalty, but to me, I think we've got away with murder tonight. And I think although we defended all right, we started the game very well, and Charlie White took his chance fantastically. I thought it was a great ball by Lyndon Gooch, but after that, we just sat off. It was like watching a game under Jack Ross for me. We just didn't pile it on when we had the chance to, because I don't think Ipswich were great, and that's the team who was sat second before tonight. So I feel deflated even though we've won the game. That might sound stupid, but it's just how I feel, if I'm honest.
I mean, even though we have been poor pretty much all season, Bomber, we've only lost one game and we've beaten Peterborough, who were top, Ipswich, who were second, and you know, as much as we have been poor, the results are coming. So I mean, do you think it is luck, or is it just the sign of a decent side, really?
Well, I said a few weeks back that I felt we were riding our luck, and that eventually that luck was going to run out, and sure enough, it did when we came up against Portsmouth. I think if you were to look objectively and just look at the results on paper, and like you said, we've beaten top, we've beaten second, we albeit in a cup game, but we've drawn with Hull, we've drawn with Charlton. You'd think, oh yeah, that's decent results, but the performances don't match up to those results, and we might be criticised for coming here and saying, oh, you know, this it's not good enough, blah blah blah. But we're up there. We're up there in the table. We're right in the thick of things. So are we being just a bit spoilt and brattish and saying, you know, it's not good enough? For me personally, I'm happy to come into the criticism because I'm firmly in the camp of that we are riding our luck and that it's not good enough. So it needs to be improved.
I mean, sorry to step in, Bomber, but could you say anybody really stood out tonight for the performance? I struggled trying to think who the man of the match would be. I've got someone's name down and we'll get to it, but honestly, I was racking my brains tonight.
Yeah, I was the same. I didn't see anybody stand out. I thought there were a few that stood out for the wrong reasons, but I don't think anybody necessarily stood out and to say, yeah, that's a man of the match performance. There were a couple who did some half decent things and drifted kind of in and out of the game, but yeah, there was no one really that stood out.
I probably sound like a bit of a hypocrite because I was sat here a couple of weeks ago saying it doesn't matter how you play once you get the results, but I'm just done with this football. I don't know what I've said this repeatedly, on Twitter recently. I just feel like this is about as good as it gets under Parkinson, and it is great that we're winning games. Don't get us wrong; this is a good win, all things considered. In a month's time, I might look back and not care about how we played, but
I think that's it, though, Gav. I think that's it. It's that you've come to the realisation that this is as good as it's going to get. It's not like we're just going through a patch where we're scraping results, but you know the better performances and the bigger wins are going to come. You've got absolutely no confidence at all that that's actually going to happen. So if this is the best that it's going to be, you know, the only way is down from here in results and performances. And Jesus Christ, you know.
I'll just remind everyone we have won. It's been quite depressive, but we have just beaten Ipswich, so we'll crack on into the game. Obviously, Gav's touched on Charlie White's goal from a really good goal. Actually, thought Lyndon Gooch did fantastically. And
that was brilliant.
You know, I tell you what, for Charlie White, that's a canny finish. That, and then
sorry to jump in and again, sorry, but I made this point in our group chat. Like, if people look on YouTube at Charlie White's goals when he played for Carlisle and Bradford, that's pretty standard. Like, most of his goals are inside the 18-yard box to feet. Just because he's big, I think people assume he's a bit of a target man, but I think we've probably discovered the whole time he's been at Sunderland that he's not a great target man. So if we're going to get goals from him, it's got to be with passes like that.
I think a lot of his goals this season have been through like quick feet, as you said there. His one last week against Rochdale, and pretty much summed that up. It just came quite quick, and he tapped it in. But I mean, that gave us a great platform, and I thought we really should have gone on to because Ipswich were there for the taking, and really they were getting very frustrated. And then once again, Bomber, elements of our own downfall. We've not defended very well for the goal, for Ipswich's goal. We failed to deal with a cross. I think Josh Scowen failed to deal with a cross. It comes out to Lancaster for Ipswich. He puts it beyond Lee Burge. Possible question marks over Lee Burge, but definitely question marks over the defence, Bomber, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And it was a shame, really, because the one good thing that you definitely could say about our play in that first 30, 35 minutes was that defensively we looked solid. It's probably a mixture of how good we were defensively and how toothless Ipswich were a little bit, but I think that's more down to our good defensive work. It was more, what we've come to expect of a Phil Parkinson Sunderland side this season. But yeah, it was just that one lapse in concentration. I think Luca 9 and McLaughlin both got caught out, and that ball that's come into the box, for him, Lancaster, wasn't it, to have that much time to get the touch, get it out of his feet, and get the shot away. Question mark over Bailey Wright's positioning, possibly. But certainly question marks over Burge. Having got that close to it, he should be stronger with it. I know it's coming in from probably 10 yards out, but he's seen it enough to react to it and get something to it. So I'd maybe I'm being hypercritical, but I'd expect him to do a little bit better with that.
Yeah,
I stuck up for him. I stuck up for him on Twitter.
I've seen it on Twitter.
And then I got a bit of stick. So I watched it again, and I can see what people are saying. I think his position isn't great.
I'm not saying it's his fault, but I think I just expect him to do something a bit better with it, maybe.
Yeah, but it's Lee Burge, though, isn't it? I've come to expect very little from him, to be honest. He's kind of been. I think we said this at the time when we were getting all those clean sheets. Like, it's probably more to do with the likes of Wright and Ledbetter that we're seeing better defensive performances than it is the goalkeeper. I don't feel like he's saving us many points. So I can see. Yeah, well, I can see what people are saying when they're saying he should do better. I also think, though, that in the build-up to the goal, the fact that defence is all over the place is the reason we conceded the goal.
Yeah, yes, he shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know you mentioned McLaughlin and you mentioned 09, but actually I think Scowen's got to do better. He kind of just tracks the man without trying to make... He doesn't stop the cross. The first thing you're told, even as a child, when you're defending, you don't let the cross go in. And it's so easy. The cross goes in and all right, the kid's in good space and he finishes well, actually. But there's multiple things wrong with that goal, really. And it's the type of mistakes we weren't making maybe a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
When we were getting all those clean sheets, and that's something Parkinson will be wanting to iron out, I imagine.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Totally agree. So we'll move on to the second half. I mean, we were really laboured, and then the big turning point was the 71st minute red card by Andre Dazelle. I hope I've said his name right. Harsh, Gav?
Yes, I think so. At first, when I had to see a few replays, at first, obviously, Ledbetter makes a meal of it and rolls around a little bit and holds his ankle, and then there's the kick-offs between the players. That always, you know what's coming as soon as that happens. But when you say it's slowed down, I don't think it's a red card. I don't know if anyone else feels differently.
No, I thought it was harsh as well, especially when you consider the ref. He hadn't booked a single player in that up to that point. There was yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll take it anyway, and then another contentious decision, we'll say. I mean, like I said, I think it's a penalty all day long, but I think in the letter of the law now, obviously, they tried to clear it. Hits another defender who has his hands up, but he can't get out the way of it, and we get another penalty bomb. I mean, what camp are you in with that one?
Oh, it's a penalty for me, mate. By the letter of the law, if that's a Premier League game or Champions League game, VAR calls that back, even if it's not given, and it's given as a penalty 100% of the time. And just because we're in League One and we don't have the benefit of VAR doesn't mean that those decisions shouldn't still be made. By the letter of the law, regardless of whether you're in the Premier League, Championship, Champions League, or the National League, that is the handball rule. and it should be enforced as such. So yeah, there's no question for me. It's a pen.
Yeah, and struck very well, Gav, by Grant Ledbetter to get the winning goal again. Nice penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's the calmest man on the pitch in those situations, to be honest. Like, you see how long he took to actually hit the ball, for instance. He just wasn't rushing. Took his time and hit it really well, and celebrated in the corner with a bit of passion. That's what you want to see. Like, if we're going to take any positives from today, it's probably the way that he just wrapped it into the back of the net, because he's become quite... He's across his career anyways, I can remember him scoring for Middlesbrough. I think it might have been the championship season against us, and it was a similar type of penalty where, you know, you've got all these people watching. All right, he didn't tonight, but you got all these people watching you step up to take it, and he doesn't look like he's under any pressure. He's the best person in that situation comfortably for me.
Yeah. And we ended up seeing the game out, so like a big win for Sunderland. Where we haven't moved anywhere in the league, but we've caught right up. We're 2 points behind Ipswich with a game in hand. There is Hull and Charlton who also have the game in hand, but we might look at this once the season's over. Gav and Bobby, you can both answer this one, and that could be a massive 3 points, couldn't it?
Yeah. Like I say, I might look back at this in a month and think nothing of the performance. It might just look on paper like a good result. We have just beaten second in the league. Or I don't know if they've moved after tonight's result.
Still
second in the league.
Still second, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, you can't grumble at beating second in the league 2-1, really. I know I started off rather negatively, and I do feel pretty annoyed by what I watched, but it's 3 points, and we're going to come away from this and move on to the next one. It's a cliche, but it's true,
Yeah, within a couple of weeks, we'll have, a couple more good results. We'll have forgotten about this performance, and all we'll do is look at it and go, yeah, okay, we beat Ipswich 2-1, who were second in the league or top of the league at the time. So yeah, it's disappointing. It's not disappointing. That's an absolute stupid thing to say, but it's just frustrating because you want to see more. You don't. It's that eternal dilemma, isn't it? Are you happy with the most dire kind of entertaining football in the world, but getting 3 points, as opposed to paying £10 to watch a game of football and actually seeing some entertainment and seeing some decent football?
I struggled tonight to keep my eyes on it, to be honest. It was hard. It was a hard one to follow. It wasn't gripping us at all. And what that has done though is it's tightened it up for everybody. It's tightened it up for everybody, not just ourselves. There's now 6 or 7 teams that are all within 4 points of top of the league. So we've done everyone else a favour as well. So we just need to make sure that there's no further slip ups and we don't go into slip back into the Pompey levels of performance.
Yeah. Just need to keep winning, and we'll be there. We'll be there, Mount. And I will say as well, it's now the highest points tally that we've had in the first 10 games since we came into League One. So there you go.
Yeah, I saw that stat. Wasn't the stat though? If we didn't win, it would have been the worst.
Had we lost, it would have been the worst. So
there's not much margin for error there. Then
no margin for error whatsoever there. So as much as we say ill against Phil Parkinson, he's kind of doing relatively good job, or lucky job. It's fine. That is also a fine margin. It's either good or lucky. I can't quite make it up. So anyway, we'll crack on with the player ratings. Again, I'm quite sick of doing Lee Burge, so I'm going to start with Bommy. You can have Lee Burge.
Okay.
I'm glad you didn't give that to me.
Well, it's a relatively straightforward one. I'd have given Burge a 5. He didn't really do anything spectacular. He didn't really have anything to do apart from the save. He can come into a little bit of criticism for the goal, but not too much. And like I said, he didn't really do anything else wrong, but didn't really do anything else spectacular either. So just slightly below average, ever so slightly. So yeah, 5. Yeah.
Agreed. Totally agree with that one. Gav, you can have Luke 9. For his high standards, I thought you put in it tonight. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I've given him a 5, and that's probably the lowest I've ever marked him. And yeah, I think as a wing back, sometimes you see Luke 9 at wing back, and you think, he's had a great game. He's got in behind his man. He's worked hard up and down line. I don't think he didn't work hard tonight. I just think he got caught out for the goal. That's one thing. He was way out of position, and he offered nothing in the final third. We went 2 up front, and that's when you need your wing backs to really have put the pedal to the metal and start throwing the crosses into the box. And I thought Denver Hume did a decent job of that, but 9 on the other side, he very much looked like a player out of position again. And I don't like saying that about him, because I think he is a good wing back. He just had an off night, but maybe that's just because he was playing a good team.
Maybe. Yeah.
I know they didn't play particularly well tonight, but maybe his role was more restricted because Parkinson's he's probably holding him back a little bit and asking him to to maybe man mark their winger. I think was it Edwards on the left. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but he had a decent game. So yeah, I've given him a 5, but I know he can do better.
Yeah. I mean, we're 2 for 2 at the minute. I've went 5-5 as well, so we're rocking and rolling here. Like I'll take Conor McLaughlin, and I've given Conor McLaughlin a 6. I thought again solid defensively. I mean, my only criticism for his last couple of games, Conor McLaughlin, is he's crossing at the box is absolutely dreadful. He gets like far too much on and just loops the ball over the top. But for defensively, he probably could have done a little bit better with a goal. But I thought he defended quite well today. I do actually think the last couple of games he has improved a little bit in his defensive work. His attack work needs a huge improvement. He's nowhere near Willis's level, but I don't think he's doing much wrong, to be totally honest with you.
Right centre back, he's not doing too bad.
No, he's certainly not looking as bad as he was last season, was he? You know,
does he look like to anyone else like a centre half? Like he just doesn't look like. I don't look at him and think, oh, that's a full back. Like he's not that old, so he's came through in an era where like right backs and left backs have been asked to attack, and he's played international football at wing back. And I look at him and I go, really? Like, he's even built like a centre half.
Yeah, if I didn't know any better, I'd say he was a centre back rather than a full back.
Yeah. So I've given him a 6. I thought a solid 6 for him tonight, and we'll move on to Bailey Wright. Bomber, you can have him.
Again, he was kind of. It wasn't necessarily the Bailey Wright performance that we've seen at the very start of the season. It was certainly better than the previous 2 games. When I was last on the ratings pod, I think I gave Bailey Wright a 5, and he was a little bit fortunate to get that 5. But he didn't really put a foot wrong. His positioning was a bit off for the goal, for Ipswich's goal, but there was a catalogue of errors that led up to that. So I'm not wanting to come down too hard on him there. Other than that, he was quite solid. I don't remember seeing too many of his kind of long diagonal balls going out of play or anything like that. So it's a solid 6 for me, I think.
Yep, spot on. Gav, Tom Flanagan.
You've took a big side there, but I don't think he stood out as playing particularly badly for me. I mean, he tends to shank the ball out of play a few times. He isn't a great passer of the ball. But I don't think defensively he did much wrong. Maybe that's just because Ipswich were poor, to be honest. I was gonna jump in and say about Bailey Wright, but I think you've got to remember Caden Jackson's a good striker, and I don't think we saw a lot of him tonight.
He's quiet, yeah.
And maybe we've just got to give a little bit of credit to the defence and say they handled him well. Bailey Wright and Tom Flanagan in particular thought did okay. So 6 is all I've given Flanagan.
Yeah, fair play. I'll give him a little bit less, give him a 5, but I can understand where you're coming from with that.
I was on the 4/5 border of that, because there was that
ball. Been kind,
I think there was that one ball on the halfway line where it was a bad pass, but he should have done better with it, and then Ipswich were through on goal, and they really should have scored from that. Then there was the penalty, which was a penalty.
Sorry, that totally slipped my mind.
Yeah. And then there was
all right, shit, give him a 5. Fuck
it. We've probably given him higher than a 2 what he got on Saturday, so at least he's improved.
Oh, he was better than a 2, yeah, definitely.
Big improvement tonight, Tom. You nearly give a goal away.
Keep going. Right, I'm going to go for Denver Hume. I thought a marked improvement from Saturday, to be honest. I thought his delivery today was excellent. And he's been getting criticised for his delivery in the last couple of games. Thought he was up and down, wasn't he, as well? He gave their right back a torturous time, I thought. And everything that we did well, I thought, kind of came through him and Lyndon Gooch. So I've given him a 7.
That's what I gave him as well.
For us,
I think Jimmy gave him man the match in our ratings as well.
Did he? Oh, excellent. Yeah. So Bomber, Josh Scowen, poor first half, came off at half time. Possibly a broken nose, so we can kind of get a little bit of an excuse, but he's very hot and cold, isn't he, Scowen?
Yeah, he is. There's never seems to be any middle ground with him. Because there was some things there that he did that he did today that was very good. Some of the tackles that in his tracking back and winning the ball back was very good. Again, he had a couple of chances in front of goal, or half chances in front of goal, which he squandered a little bit. He had that header, which was probably a little bit too high for him, really. Yeah. But it was good work to actually steam into the box and get onto the end of it. But then he got away with 2 or 3 fouls also. There was obviously the mistake that he had for the goal. I think I don't want to criticise him too much because he did take one in the face for the team, so I'll give him a 6 on that basis.
We'll give him a mark up for the taking one straight in the teeth. Yeah, no, right, Gav, Grant Ledbetter.
My man the match, I give him a 7. like I say, I struggled probably to say who stood out tonight, but I thought Ledbetter had a decent game, and then he got the winner, and he was cool. So 7 out of 10, nice.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Nice, easy one for me tonight.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I agree with that one. Chris Maguire, I've gave a 6. Thought first half, especially in the first 30 minutes, he ran well, attacked well. Faded in the second half. I think he must have got tired, but just a strong 6. So we'll move on to Lyndon Gooch, Bomber. Thought it was a good performance from Lyndon Gooch tonight, I will say.
Yeah, it was certainly better than what we have seen from him. The ball for Charlie White's goal was absolutely fantastic. He did drift in and out of the game though. I likened his performance today to more of like a Chris Maguire type performance where you either don't see him at all or he comes up with a few flashes of really good stuff. But yeah, I think I would be pushing a little bit closer to a 7 for him. I could make a case for giving him a 7. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. And Gav, you can finish off the starting 11. You can have the goal scorer of the first goal, the Middlesbrough Messi, Charlie White.
I give him a 7. I thought he took his goal brilliantly. Like I said earlier, it's the type of chance he clearly thrives on. The ball one was fantastic, but it doesn't matter how good the ball is. He's still got to try and get a touch on it and finish, and he did. He was brilliant at that. He held the defender off well, put it away.
Yeah.
Didn't do a lot else other than that, but I don't think that's really his fault. I think generally we didn't create too much tonight, so 7 out of 10 for Wyke.
Yeah, I totally agree with that one as well. I'll quickly rattle off the subs. I've gave both Power and Graham 5s because I just don't think they did anything, to be honest, when they came, especially Max Power. I thought Max Power just, the game passed him by a little bit.
Forgot he was on at all.
Yeah, he put a nice cross in when I think White knocked it over the bar. That was it, really. And Graham, I just don't think he's settled at Sunderland again yet. I don't think he's...
Hit the bar in the build-up to the penalty decision.
He did, yeah. I was more...
That's about it. That's about it, though.
I was more like shouting at him for not putting that away, but then I've realised we got a penalty. And obviously Dion Sanderson came on with a couple of minutes time and gave him a mark because
9.
He didn't really... Yeah, man of the match.
1 out of 10. Yeah. Kill his confidence.
So we'll finish off with a man of the match from each of us. I'll start with you, Gav. You've already said Grant Ledbetter, but...
Yeah, Grant Ledbetter, just for the reasons outlined, mate.
Yeah, no worries, Bomber.
Yeah, I was going to go with the same. It was difficult and it was a bit of a toss-up, but yeah, Grant Ledbetter, he didn't really do anything wrong all game and he scored the winner, so...
It's a clean sweep as well. Grant Ledbetter for me. I nearly went Lyndon Gooch, but just for Ledbetter putting the penalty away brilliantly. So that pretty much wraps us up, lads. So Gav, thank you very much. Bomber, thank you.
No bother, mate.
Cheers,
we'll be back later on during the week, no doubt. You can catch us on the iTunes, on the Acast, on the Spotify, on the YouTube.
The iTunes, the Acast, sound like me dad.
On the bloody everything. On the bloody
internet.
Yeah, on internet. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we shall see you soon.